Friday. How you doing, my child? Good to see you. Today is Friday. Happy Friday. Today I'll be doing review and I'll be talking about the movie Straw. Did you see it? Did you see the movie Straw? I'm just gonna share my view on it. How you been doing? Good to see you. How things been going for you? It's raining here. Whew. Things been going good for you? That's good. Yeah, I'm hanging in there too. I'm hanging in there, girl. That's about all we can do is just keep hanging in there. By the grace of God. How's your family? How's your dad? Guess what? My dad is home. I'll see him tomorrow. He's doing good. He's up to my aunt right now. So I will see him tomorrow. Because this is Father Day weekend. Yes, he's doing, he's still with cancer, but he's okay. He's traveling now. That's a good thing. Hanging in there. That's right. I want to talk about the movie. And I want to see what other people's opinions about the movie. What was y'all opinion? Welcome, welcome. If you're coming in my chat, I do welcome you. As long as you're being positive. But today, on Fridays, I do movies reviews and talk. You know, positive talk. So how's everybody doing today? Again, welcome. How is uh how is the red of your family? Hey, Butt Files. Hey, Frank. How's everybody doing? Happy Friday. Welcome back to my channel. I'm your host, George Girl. And my channel is George Girl, Everyone Wellness and More. And I'll be doing a review on the movie Straw. How many of y'all seen the movie? I don't want to spoil it for no one. So, who's seen the movie? I'm just sharing my view on it. Who's seen the movie? I know Frank said he's seen it. Anybody else seen the movie? I want to know how y'all felt about the movie, and what was the message, or what did you think that Tyler Perry was trying to? What message do you think he was trying to send to the audience? I want to see what everybody say about the movie. You know, he got some good reviews. Oh, how the rest of the family? They doing good. My mom is doing good. I was with her yesterday, but my dad did come home, so I get a chance to hang with him tomorrow. So that's what I'll be doing tomorrow, being with my dad. He came from South Carolina today. You seen it? So if you seen the movie, I want to know your opinion, your view on it, and like I said, hey servant, Sirius, how you doing? Good to see you. I call you Sarah. I'm thinking about the other lady. How you been doing? Today is Friday. It's raining where I'm at now. Hopefully it'll, pass on through. I hope my channel don't be in and out. Yeah. Yeah. So Frank saying his opinion about that most women go through that these days. I'm doing good. I'm hanging in there, girl. I'm hanging in there. God is good. I had my first part of the week was kind of rough, but you know what? You know me, serious. I keep it going. I keep it going, and I thank God for His grace and mercy. And I had wanted to talk about the movie, and I don't want to spoil it for nobody. I don't want to talk about it. Hey, Lynn, how you doing? It's a lot of things that I want to point out from this movie. It wasn't only about seeing a black woman, but this is reality. There was a woman that just almost was, she was pushed to the end. She was she was at her breaking point. It was an amazing movie. You watched it yesterday, girl. And this show, I want people to know you don't know what people are going through. They can be smiling on the outside and deep down they're hurting. We don't know what people are going through daily. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people gave good reviews on the movie. Some said he portrayed black women to be poor. And I don't just look at her as being a single parent. I'm looking at the impact of how she was driven to be in the position she was in. And I also look at that she couldn't accept the death of her child. It was a lot in there you can take from the movie. It was a lot. And from reading the reviews and um, here are people talking about it, a lot of people said it hit home. It hit home to a lot of people. You know, I think this is one of Tyler Perry's best movie, in my opinion. He does his Madea movies, and Diary of a Black Woman was one of my favorite movies. What was one of y'all favorite movies from Tyler Perry? I can read in the chat. I'm in YouTube Direct, so I'll just read y'all comments. Good to see everyone. Good to see everyone. I was saying my dad came home a couple years ago. He wasn't able to travel. So I know God is in the healing business, and I know He's watching over my dad because he couldn't go nowhere, but just stay where he was. Like I said, he fighting two types of cancer. God is good. He's doing good. He told me he got a good doctor report. He able to travel. He's 82 years old. He's living, y'all. He's living. So I'll be visiting him tomorrow. He did come from South Carolina today. He's up to my aunt, so I'm gonna spend time with him tomorrow. But God is so good because I know what he had been through, and I know how it affected me mentally. So I can't give God nothing but praises. But what was one of y'all favorite movies from Tyler Perry? You haven't seen the movie? I don't want to spoil it now. I don't want to spoil it for you. No, you don't have to be poor to feel like this young lady. Absolutely. And see, I didn't look at her, even though she was going through the financial problems. She was. But I'm looking at the impact, the situation she was in. It's just like it took us. And I was crying and I was mad too. So I'm gonna get into my. This is just like commentary. This is review. I don't want to spoil it for you, series. That's why I was telling people to watch it, but we can talk about it together. And I don't want to spoil it for you, but people don't know. Some people are just not as strong as others, y'all. A lot of people can't. Some people breathe differently, and it still take them years and years to grieve. You know what I'm saying? And the movie had got me confused a little bit, and then I was like, something ain't right here now. Something ain't right until I was like, okay, I see what's going on now. But honey, I cried. I got mad. Those was one of those movies that will take you there. So the movie is based on a single mom. The movie is based on a single mom, and she got to the point where she was had them. She snapped. She was at her last straw. Like the movie says, straw. She got to her last straw, y'all, and it seemed like everything was happening all at once. But from what I see, she already had been struggling. She had to work two jobs. Like I said, single parent. I think she mentioned her dad maybe once, maybe for how she's saying like the dad wasn't helping or he wasn't around. I'm just gonna put it like that. But it seemed like to me You said no further around with remedy. That's right. That's true. It seemed like this is something that has been was building up. You know, for instance, it's something she had been dealing with for a long time. And you know, trying to work two jobs, trying to see about a sick child, and working on a job. And you know, we all have been on jobs where our supervisors know that you come to work, but they try to just find any little thing to try to get up under your skin or make you feel like you're not doing your job. And I'm sure if anybody had a supervisor like that, I have. If anybody in the chat that has a supervisor like how this man was doing her, I mean, she was running late. She was running late. You know, all the while I'm thinking like, okay, she's seeing like she's been working. She a hard worker. You know, cause when the movie first came on, it showed where it was like she was holding the child, but it was a twist, y'all. It was you got to really be able to watch it to know the twists and turns about this movie. But I think it was a good movie. It shows what people are dealing with every day. Every day. Whether they're going through financial struggles or they're dealing with death every day. She lost it, y'all. She lost it. She lost it. She was at her breaking point. This woman had to been dealing with this, even though they didn't say how many years she had been going through this. But you could, if you watch the movie, you could probably say this lady been going through something for a while. You know what I'm saying? Working two jobs, and it just had got to the point. And then when she tried to work and go to her job, and then they was giving her a hard time. She got behind on her rent. Um, they was bullying her child at school. You know, it was a lot she was dealing with. It was a lot. I mean, it just seeing the plot of the movie. Cause the plot of the movie was about a single mom. She she got to her breaking point, y'all. She got to her breaking point. And it happens. It happens every day. That's why I say you don't know what people are going through. You don't know what they have to go through daily to get out their bed. You don't know what they go through on these jobs. You don't know what their children are going through. You don't know. That's why, you should treat people right, because you don't know when somebody going to snap. You don't know when somebody going to snap. And, I was just listening to that, when I was watching the movie, her friend was saying she was alone. I don't know where her family was. And the part what got me, y'all, they said she died. She was already dead. And why was she was alone through all this? What was her support? What was her support? Even though she was saying that, hey, Six Ball, how you doing? You said, good evening. Straw definitely brought out the mental awareness, and it is perfect movie to review for this channel. Yep. um. So I have questions. I'm curious about, even though I know he had it written up like that, but she felt like she was dealing with this by herself. She seemed like she was alone because the lady was at the store was saying she didn't have no friends. Uh, and then her family, I don't know, like she wasn't her family. She didn't have support, and she was dealing with this stuff by herself. And till she got to the point where she was still thinking that her daughter was still alive. The movie had me so messed up, y'all. I was crying like a baby, sit bone. My daughter they was looking at me like, what wrong? And then, because they didn't want to watch what I watched, they already know I was going to be crying. And it just, It's sad. It's sad that we see people go through this every day. You see what I'm saying? She was hallucinating, y'all. Cause they said she really look. Who watched the movie in the chat? So Frank, when you watched the movie, they said the little girl wasn't even in the bed. But then they showed the little girl in the bed. They said the little girl did not come home. The little girl was still at the hospital. But even though they showed us, but it didn't exist. You remember they showed when she, oh, serious, I hate to tell you about the movie, sweetie. I hate to tell you about the movie. But when she was in the bathroom, right? They said wasn't nobody in that tub. No, Tyler Perry had it where we could see it, but in reality, wasn't the little girl wasn't there. The little girl wasn't there at all. You see what I'm saying? And ooh, she all in traffic trying to get to the school and all that. Everything was coming down on her all at once. The stupid supervisor. I want to I want to get on that and slap him about 2 or 3 times. So Frank, I know you watched it, Six Bowls. When did y'all figure out that something was wrong with her? The mom. When did y'all figure out? Was it at the middle of the movie when she started to snap? When did y'all really start realizing? Because I didn't know it up until the last that the little girl wasn't with her. Because it was like the book that, now there were people were saying, I was looking at the reviews and videos, right? They said the book bag was still at the house. She wasn't at school. You know, she had died. Because she was saying, I got to go take the $40. Only thing was on her mind is making sure her daughter get the $40. And I said, she's a good mother. All the turmoil and all the things she went through, and she witnessed her daughter getting bullied, and she wanted to make sure her daughter was able to eat. And so the way it was set up, like they said the girl wasn't even in bed. She wasn't even in the tub. It was all in her mind. It was all in her mind, y'all. She played that part, y'all. That woman, what her name, Taranji, she played that part. It was 4 people I didn't like in this movie. What 4 people you didn't like, Frank? Name the 4, and I'm gonna tell you my 4. It probably probably the same 4. Cause that was something else. Now to me, I think they all did a good job. Hey, I'm sorry, y'all. I was hoping y'all watch it, then we can talk about it together. That's why I was asking y'all, have y'all seen it yet? I don't want to spoil it for y'all. For the ones that haven't seen it in the chat, I'm sorry. I had told y'all the other day, hey, Miss B, you doing all right? I told y'all the other day, so I'm going to do a review on the movie Friday, y'all, if y'all haven't seen it now. But even though y'all still can watch it, you know, I'm just speaking my opinion about it, but it's a good movie. It's going to make you cry if you like me. You going to cry because of the impact of what the plot was about. But you really got to watch it. But I'm telling you, it going to make you mad and it going to make you cry. That's all I'm telling you. But, Frank, what 4 people you said you didn't like? It probably the same 4 people. The supervisor, the bank teller, the police officer, and I know them 3. Yeah. And those robbers. Because they didn't have to do what they had to do. But y'all watch it. You're going to have to really watch it to understand it. Hey, Miss Key. Miss Key, did you ever watch it? I know you said you hadn't watched it either. You said you won't spoil it for me hearing everyone talking about it. It seemed like if I watched it, yeah. You haven't watched it yet? But, you know, you can still watch it. But y'all know I had to put my little twist on it. But it was a good movie. Seriously, it was. It was a good. Hey, Nell Taylor, how you doing? Okay, I didn't know you was in here seeing my dream team sister here. But what four people you was talking about made you mad? I know Frank watched it. Six Bowls watched. Who else watched it? What four people? Frank said it was four people in the movie he didn't like, and the feds who tried to take over was tripping. Yeah, you watch it. Okay, watch it. It's good. It was based on a single mother, and y'all have been. Just be honest with me because I have been. You can tell me if you want to. Have anybody in the chat ever been to the point where they want to? Have been to one of their breaking points? You can be honest about it. You don't have to get in details of breaking up. Probably because the weather. You don't have to get in details. Can you hear me now? It's raining outside too. You don't have to get in details about why you got that way. But have anybody in the chat ever been to their breaking point? I have. Can y'all hear me now? Can y'all hear me? It's raining outside. It's raining outside. Can y'all hear me? Have anybody in the chat ever have been to their breaking point before? Have anybody? I have. And it's common. It's common that people do. Can y'all? I may have to go out and come back in. Y'all still can't hear me? Good now. Yeah, it's thundering and lightning. Y'all don't forget to give me a thumbs up, like, share, and subscribe. And if you want to become a member, I have to put that out. If you want to join my membership, everything is there. But have anybody in the chat ever reached to the point where they have been at their last straw? You don't have to get in details about why you was in that position, but have anybody? I have. Anybody in the chat have ever felt like they about to have a nervous, like have a mental breakdown? I have. Anybody else? Serious as she have. You don't have to tell me why and what reason, but it happens, y'all. Sometimes you can be driven so hard and been at the point of your life where you just keep saying, what else can I do? You could be praying and asking God to pull you out of a situation, but I have been there. And it just happened a couple of years ago when my dad went through what he went through. That's why I said, God is so good. My dad is home. I'll be able to see him tomorrow. A couple of years ago, my dad couldn't even travel, y'all. There was a lot of things going on with him personally. He was dealing with the cancer, and I was so distraught. Now telling him to tell you how I was. I wasn't able to see him, and I was back to the edge. I dealt with that. And then when I had my cancer diagnosed, I went through that because I went in a deep depression. I have been there, y'all. I have been at my last straw. I have been like trying to grab at straws to get back where I need to be. And that's part of life, y'all. If you have been in that kind of situation, that's part of life. But I'm praying that if you went through that, I'm glad that you could see the end of the tunnel. You can see the light at the end of the tunnel. This woman had been dealing with so much. And I tell you one thing, it's good to have a good support system. It's good to have somebody that you can turn to. You can turn to God too, but it's good to have somebody right there in your corner. It's obvious the daddy was not involved in the child life. She was working two jobs. And she was probably going to a job she didn't like because how the supervisor was treating her. And I know a lot of people have been on a job because I have. I have been on a job where I hated. But I had to stay there because I had to help provide for my children, my family. And it seemed like I know she was saying something about she wanted to go back to school or something like that. She was trying to work so she could be able to start school. And sometimes we have to put up with so much crap in order to live these days. But when you get to that breaking point, and you get to that point where you just can't take it, uh boss, landlord, bank teller, guy that hit the ground. Yeah, it was a lot of this was a lot of men that made me mad in that movie. Seriously, it was my job duties when you're on a job and you're needed and they can't do anything with you being there and all the work fall on you and no help, you're overwhelmed and overworked. Exactly. I done been that way too, Siri. It seemed like people find joy out of trying to make people miserable, or they find joy in trying to put all the work on a person instead of trying to work together. And he knew the lady was going on the movie, right? It showed she was late for work. He kept on saying, "You always be late." And she's trying to tell him, "I have a sick child. I have a sick child, and it's things I have to do. I have to pick up a medicine, and I have to go to school and take care of that and this and that." She's trying to explain to the man, her supervisor, but he was so hateful. He was so hateful to her. It's just like whatever she was saying to him, he didn't want to hear it. And she's constantly saying, "My child is sick. I need to go to the school." And when you go on a job, you have to let your supervisor know about your children, especially if you got sick children. He didn't have a heart, for one thing. He didn't have a heart. And he wasn't doing that. He could have went and ran that cash register. She was working at a store, right? And the line was long. You ain't doing it but sitting there running your mouth. Some supervisors, let me tell you, some supervisors feel like they don't supposed to do nothing but supervise. And when you like working in a store or working in places and some of your workers are out, shouldn't the supervisor fill in? But some supervisors feel like they don't supposed to do nothing but stay in the office. And the supervisor in the chat, don't come and get me, but y'all hear what I'm saying, right? Some supervisors feel like they don't want to do but stand over you, look at you work, be on the phone. They being out gossiping and worrying about what the next supervisor got going on in their position. But if you got a good worker, right? I'm just gonna use it for example. If you have a good worker and she come to work every day, only reason she don't come to work because of her child being sick or something going on, why not fill in her position for her? Find somebody to work for her for 30 minutes or an hour, or either you get in the spot. But a lot of people don't do that. They don't try to work with people. They try to make it hard for others. That's why I said this movie here, it showed a lot how people are. It showed just how people are when they get up a little higher. They get a little position. They don't know how to act. They try to look down on others. Even though she was having hallucinations. But the thing about it, he didn't care. He didn't care she had a sick child. He didn't care. So she had to leave and she said, "I gotta go to the school." He was just hollering at her, just talking loud to her and making her feel embarrassed. Oh, you need to come back in 30 minutes. Come back in 30 minutes, It just, I could have went through that straight. Y'all. If I could have got hold of that man, I would have slapped him by I think I would have slapped him by 2 or 3 times, y'all. I ain't joking. God. He was just making it so hard for her. So she went to the yeah. Do y'all ever watch them movies like that make you want to just And that was one of those movies. Okay, after she got to a job and she knew her rent was late too, stuff like that. Her rent was late. I don't know how many days her rent was late now. I don't know how many months her rent was late, how many days, but that old landlord, ooh, child. I can't stand them either. We have a landlord rent from somebody. They do supposed to give you so many days, right? Before they put your stuff out, right? I don't know how many times she had been asking for the rent, but it still come out to, they know this woman had a sick child. And at that time, how the movie was going, we still thinking the little girl is alive. We still thinking she at school, you know. But it's a twist. The twist come at the end. You know, like I said, you rent for somebody. I know you're supposed to pay your rent. But people fall short every day, y'all. They fall short every day. Even the landlord probably fell short someday. You know what I'm saying? Why make it hard when it's already hard out here for people? Even though that was a movie, but we see this every day. People putting people out their homes. They might run like a few days late, but don't normally you when you be on a rent a place or buying a car, they give you so many days, like a grace period. They give you time to pay it, give you time to pay the late fee. But she was so nasty too. The landlord was nasty. If you don't have my money back, all your stuff gonna be outside. She was gonna put all her stuff outside, and she did. This woman did. Put all the woman, the baby, medicine and all the stuff, the woman furniture, clothes. She did. She put all the woman stuff out, y'all. It was just tearing me up. Like I'm like, Lord have mercy. She already got to go to a job she don't like. She late on her rent. She working two jobs. She late on her rent. Then she found out a child sick, have seizures and stuff like that. Go to the bank thinking she got money in the bank, ain't got nothing on her account. So after she went back to her job, the man was talking to her so bad, she was already 30 minutes late. He told her to come back in 30 minutes. But she got in traffic. Then old nasty police officer. Ooh, child. That's why I said it was so many twists and turns in that movie. It made me want to jump in the stream. Made me want to just, ooh, la. I tell you, you got to be able to watch it in order to be able to see what I'm talking about. She was already running late. She was trying to get back to the job, y'all. And then this old police officer, I didn't know he was a police officer because he wasn't in uniform. He gonna run her off the road. He gonna run off the road, y'all. She already trying to get back to the job. She tried to go to the school, want to get back and get her paycheck. Then this police officer, he was off duty or whatever. He gonna run her off the road, hit her car. And I'm telling you too, just because you're a police officer, that don't give you the right to do people like that. You off duty. When you off duty, you just like everybody else. You out there in the road. You got to drive straight. You got to drive correct just like everybody else. Because you're a police officer, that don't mean she supposed to be pulled over and let you by. You wasn't in uniform. You wasn't in uniform, so you were just like her, trying to get where you need to go. But no, he had to be nasty. He had to be nasty, and then he gonna tell the other police officer that she was speeding or something. And they did her wrong. They did her. That was another thing added on to what she was already going through. Another thing going on with what you said, yeah, I know. And that was another thing. That was another issue added on to what she was already dealing with. That made her even late going back to work. She trying to get back to work. Started raining. Ooh, child, it was just a straight mess. So they gave her a ticket. They towed her car. She ain't have no money, y'all. Then they towed her car. She tried to explain to them about a child. That one thing she kept telling people. She always thought about her child. Regardless of what she had went through. See, she was in denial for one thing. After I really went on down and watched the movie, all this, the child didn't even exist no more. But she just was hallucinating the child. She just doing her normal everyday thing. Getting up, going to work, getting the baby ready for school, dropping the baby off. But the child wasn't there. I'm about to cry now, y'all. Ooh, child. I tell you, that young bank teller was the only caring about herself. Yeah, she made me mad. I tell you, they made me mad. Through the tears and mad. Oh my goodness. Lynn said, yes, so true. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Just nasty. Yeah. She already had enough on her plate, y'all. She had enough on her plate. Trying to go to a job I'm sure she didn't like. And I'm sure some of y'all in the chat that been on a job that you didn't like, but you was thinking about your family. How many people can say that in the chat? They done been on a job and you just have to just ask God to protect you and hold your tongue and deal with it until where you at the point where you can't deal with it. And I looked at it like she didn't like the job. She probably didn't even like the supervisor, but she needed the job to help pay her rent and help provide for her child. And they were just making it so hard for her. So it was a lot. It was a lot. Then they took her car to the tow thing or wherever they towed her car. So she had to end up trying to walk back to the job in the rain. She had to walk back to the job in the rain, y'all. Trying to get back in 30 minutes. She was trying her best to get back in 30 minutes. But she didn't. Because she went by the bank. I think she went by the bank trying to see if she had any kind of money in her account. But after she went back to the job, she knew she was already, the man was going to treat her a certain way. So he fired her. The supervisor fired her, y'all. The man fired her because she didn't get back in time. She tried to explain to him about what happened, how the police officer would treat her. The police officer was so nasty. They were so nasty. And she trying to explain to her supervisor what had happened, why she was still late. That man didn't care. You been late all this and that. I hear you putting up with her and this and that. Called the officer, told her she was fired. So he told her she was fired, right? She said, well, if I get my check. You know how nasty and low down that man was now. Some job do that because I know when I got fired on my job, they sent my money through the mail. I mean, you already had in mind that you gonna fire me anyway. You know what I'm saying? He already knew this what he wanted to do. The checks was already printed out. But he didn't want to give this woman her money. He telling her she's going to wait and get it through the mail. Man, the checks was on the desk. No, when you get terminated, you're supposed to get the check through the mail. That's how most jobs do. When they fire you, they don't give you your money back in unless you've been already hired. Most of us already got direct deposit. So that's a good thing now. So you get a check already in the bank. But hers was like that. It was a check. And she needed that money. She told me, I need my money. She found out all the stuff was on that, they had to put all the stuff out and everything. She was just trying to explain to the supervisor, but that man, he just wasn't even letting up. He didn't care. I hate people like that. I don't like to deal with people like that. I'm coming to work, working my bone off. Probably filling in days when I didn't have to, still did some days when she didn't have to work, and just try to help him. You could have gave that woman that check. No, you could have saved that stamp, dude. God, you'll get it in the mail. You could have saved that. Get a one more check. That was just crazy. Yeah, it's raining out, y'all. Can y'all hear me now? Can you hear me? But wasn't that crazy Friday? He had to lay the check on the desk. He had a check on the desk. Can you hear me now? He could have just reached back there and gave her check. But that's how the movie, it had to be, we had to be kept in suspense, And so, yeah, it was right there. But most jobs are like that. They rather let you wait 5 to 7 days for you can get what you already worked for. That's crazy. It's crazy. But that's how most jobs are. That's why in a way it's good that you can get direct deposit. Then your money, will get there maybe a day or two early or something like that. But then after she saw how he did her, and I think that's when she went to the bank, I believe. I think she went to the bank then, but they charged her with the boss incident is what I'm trying. You know what, 6-0? And I was wondering, did it exist? Did she actually kill him, or it was all in her head? That's a question. One of the questions I want to know. So did she actually kill him? Because I know she left the store and she came back, and that's when those robbers. I'm trying to. I've been trying to read about it. I've been looking up, trying to. And a lot of people, whatever people are saying, did she really kill her boss, or was it all in her head? See, she had a breakdown, y'all. She needed some help. She really needed some professional help because she had about ran herself to death trying to. That day there, it was just so much going on. And then it rained. It rained on top of everything. She didn't have no ride. She out there running in the streets. And, ooh, child, it was heartbreaking to me. I got to watch it again because it's that type of movie. Yeah, if you find out, let me know because I'm trying to, okay, when she went back to the store, she had to went back home, right? I guess that when she found out all her stuff was out there, right? She found out all her stuff was out there, and she just, she got the screaming and hollering, And Sinbad was in the movie, y'all. Shout out to Sinbad. I hadn't seen him on nothing in a while. He had a stroke, and Tyler Perry gave him a job. So that's awesome. That is awesome. But yeah, that's when she went back to the house, and I guess she had to walk back to the house because she had been wet and everything. She was wet. And she saw all the little girl medicine was out there. And that's what everybody was saying. The little girl wasn't with her because she had the little girl book bag. That's the little girl book bag she was toting 6-0. Do y'all realize that? Yeah. But do y'all realize she had the little girl book bag? It didn't dawn on me till after everything happened. She had the little girl book bag. That's what she was toting around. So the little girl wasn't at school, but she was so messed up. She was hallucinating so bad. She grabbed the little girl book bag. She grabbed the book bag, and that's what she was toting in the bank. Remember? Y'all remember that? So after she went back to the house, she grabbed that book bag. But it still didn't dawn on her. She's still just thinking it's just a regular, just a day her furniture out the door, her clothes, the baby medicine, and she was all messed up, child. She was all messed up. She had to about snap dead. She was getting to that breaking point right then. When that woman put her out that house, she screamed. She just, ooh. I said then, this lady having a meltdown. I said she is having a meltdown. And still, I did not know the child still wasn't with her. I didn't know until at the end. I know my daughter. I started crying. I'm like, the girl dead. But I'm getting to that. But anyway, um, it just, ooh, it was just so heartbreaking. She went back to the store after cause that landlord sitting out there. I could have knocked her out too. The landlord sitting out there after she got the latest stuff all the way around, got it out. And even the man was playing homeless, Sinbad. He said she got a sick child. And he also said too, even though she went through what she went through, she still was able to give him a she was still able to get him a couple of a little change. Sometimes you can be having your going through some yourself, but if you see where you can help somebody else, that'll be your blessing. And that's what she did. The man was homeless, and she didn't have much on her, but she gave it to him because she was thinking she was gonna get her paycheck. So after she left the house and saw all the stuff out, and the landlord, she ain't try to work with her. She ain't try to work. And that's how some mom is. Some mom tell you right quick, I need my rent. But I feel like I thought after if you have a lease or rent, I think you have so many days. You have so many days for you can be able to pay your rent. But then some of them be so nasty. They be want their money up front. They don't give you a chance to pay. She probably been one of those kinds that been late a lot, stuff like that. But she went back to the store after she saw the lady put all her stuff out. I just started feeling sorry for her, y'all. They got me right there. I'm like, Lord, she got put out on the street. She got a sick child. She don't have her car. They totaled her car, and she lost her job. Practically, she got fired. So she went back there trying to get a check. The man still didn't want to give her a check, y'all. She practically begging the man, I need my check. I'm out on the street. My child need money. And she just kept explaining her situation. And he kept just still saying, no, you got to wait to HR. You just still being nasty. But you know what? Faith came in that store. Huh? The lady knows she ain't hear her. That's right. They did it wrong. But you know what? Faith came in that store, even though she didn't have nothing to do with it. Them folks came in there and robbed that bank. I said that was her opportunity to get her money, even though she didn't have nothing to do with that particular issue with them robbing that guy. But it was looking like she might have known him, but she didn't know him. But she had the opportunity to get her check. But I don't. She flipped, y'all. When she shot him, I don't. Do you think she realized she shot him? 6 because she didn't want her money. That's all she wanted was some money. That's all she wanted. And that's why I said she had a meltdown right there. She shot the man, and then too, even though the robbers got shot, she didn't even try to get that money that they had. Only thing she wanted was her check. That's the only thing she wanted, y'all, was her paycheck. And her paycheck was $521. I read she been working hard at that grocery store. I don't blame her. Probably putting up with them people. You know you work at a grocery store. You be up there doing this all day, scanning all day. Then some people come in acting like they don't know what they want, and y'all don't, you know what I'm saying? We be customers, but I know some of those people at those stores, especially at certain times of the month, those grocery stores probably do be hectic, especially like the furs, and it seems like it was one of them days, right? But she must have had been working her some overtime or something. Cause she said her check was $521. And soon as she popped that man, she got her check. But if she was the type of person that they was trying to make her out to be, she would have got all the money. She would have got her check and the money that them guys were trying to get. But she didn't do that. She did not do that. She just wanted what she worked for. But during that time, she was gone in, y'all. Her mind was totally. She was gone. She was gone. She hadn't had got that gun, and the way she was swinging that gun, I'm like, do she realize she got a gun in her hand? And so she went to the bank, right? She hadn't got a paycheck. Boss man dead. Then the robber was on the floor or whatever. So they thinking that, they was working together, which they won. But that's what the supervisor thought because the man called her name, but he saw her name on her badge. So that's the time when she was getting ready to go to the bank. And Lord, everything broke loose then. When she went to the bank, she went in there, and that's what I said. The bank folk, they them folks at that bank, they were so lost. How did they come up with her robbing the bank though? She went in there, she gave the girl her check. I remember her giving the girl her check. I read because she had the gun in her hand, and then they thought it was a bomb, Lord. It was all messed up, y'all. For the ones who ain't seen it, you gonna be like, what? She's not robbing no bank. You gonna say to yourself, she ain't robbing, she just wanna cash your check. So she got up there to that crazy bank teller. She about to have a nerve breakdown up there. She would tell her lady, can you cash my check? And she kept saying, no, you gotta have your ID and this and that, and she was telling the lady, I come here all the time. They know her. They know her. They used to see her with the little girl and everything. But that bank teller, it was her fault. She was the reason all that happened. Cause she up there like she was about hysterical. She was about to pass out. She was about to have a breakdown cause the woman asked her to catch the check. It ain't funny, but it's just how she said, you sound afraid. Instead of her just going and cashing the woman's check. Then they talking about, she got a bomb. She got a bomb. I said, Lord, I want to get on there and slap that woman. There's a lot of them in there I want to slap. Only thing she wanted was a check. That's it. She had to snap then break. Look, I probably would have been scared too. She had that gun. She ended up just swinging that gun, y'all. She ended up just swinging the gun. I would have been scared too. I'm just being honest. I probably would have been scared too. Because she had just left the store. Yeah, they assumed the wrong thing. The check had a little blood on it. So, and I think they hadn't already said that they was looking for, or they was, from the store. But the thing about it, if that woman at that bank had a went on and cashed her check, it would have been all over with. Everything would have, she would have got her money. She would have got her money, right? Only thing she was thinking about was making sure her daughter get the $40. And all that bullying. I can't stand people getting bullied. Why they bullying her little girl? The little child was sick. She was sickly. She had seizures. Well, I know Some people don't care. But honey, that went on for a minute. And then the woman came out the office. She was just as bad as the rest of them. Ooh, she got a bomb. She got a bomb. She got a bomb. I was like, is she got a bomb for real? I'm like, I'm just trying to look at, I'm just trying to see what they see. And I saw a little light flashing in the bag. I'm like, oh my God, Saranji. I'm like, is you robbing that bank for real? That's what I kept saying to myself. Is she robbing this bank for real? She was. She was. That old woman told her, shut up though. But Taraji. What her name was? Janaya? What her name was? Her name was Janaya or something like that, wasn't it? Yeah, she was nervous. All of them had got nervous. All of them had got nervous. But I think she had to be. I don't think. Do you think she realized she had that gun in her hand, y'all? For the ones that seen it, do y'all think she really realized what she was doing? I don't think she knew exactly what she was doing. Only thing was on her mind is getting her check cash. But she had the gun in her hand. And I'm saying to myself, do she realize that made it look like she was robbing a bank? Because she was talking, the gun was swinging one way, and that little toy, whatever, at the end we found out it was a toy. The little toy just flashing in the bag. You know. But she had then already flipped, y'all. She had then already flipped. She had already flipped. She was already going into a mental breakdown. She was already having it anyway. But she just was in denial about her child. You know, like I said, you know, people grieve a long time. It ain't no time limit on grieving. And a lot of people can't accept it. Like I allow grandmothers and stuff like that, relatives, but they said when you lose a child, it's a total different thing. They said it's a total different thing when you lose a child or a parent. That's what people I have heard people say. When you lose them, it's just like a special child. And even though they were saying she said her sister and mama were crazy. And I'm thinking that she did not want to accept what they said about her daughter, because she just went on just like it was another day. You see what I'm saying? She went on like it was another day, like nothing hadn't happened. Cause from when her mama called to the bank, she said she died last night. And when I heard those words right there, y'all, I bust out and started crying. And then they start showing stuff flipping back, like it was just showing how she was still going on with her normal everyday life. Yeah, mental health is real. She was hallucinating, and she had some schizophrenic going on too. And she was also paranoid. She was dealing with all of that. She was struggling. She felt like nobody didn't care about her situation. Then that police officer, he was so nasty. And we see every day how some of those polices are. I'm not bringing nothing up about race, but it's a lot when it come down to our race and come down to the police, because it have been shown. We see it every day. Some people, they stop people for a traffic ticket, but they want to treat them so bad, like they didn't kill somebody. Look what happened to George Farmer. Not George Farmer, but the man named George. Y'all know what I'm talking about. Look what happened to him. That could have been prevented. But these days, like I said, it seemed like And it's not only the men's. We see now women's are target also. But it do seem like our men are really targeted by the police officer these days. But in this movie, she seen how they treated her. And one thing I can say, I'm glad happened in the movie, y'all. The bank teller what recorded everything. Now I think that was a good thing. I think that was a good thing. So I don't know. I'm thinking she knew about the little girl. What y'all think, Frank? Do y'all think of the lady, the one that was Sherry Shepherd said she had found out earlier that day the little girl had died. So do you think the other bank teller, not the one that was acting like she was about to jump out her skin, not that one, but do you think the other one what was recording the move, recording what she was saying? Do y'all think she knew about the little girl? Because they said she had died the night before, and by them like when the police be looking for you, I'm sure when the police is thinking you on the run, they're gonna be trying to do some background checks. They're gonna try to find out where you was the night before, who you been around, and I'm sure those police they knew what was going on. Some of them probably knew because they came to her mama house, right? But do you think the people in the bank? I know that the lady Sherry Shepherd knew, but I'm wondering, did the bank teller know? Not the one that was acting like she about to jump out of skin and scared and nervous. I believe the other one did know because the way she pulled that off by recording, I think that was a brilliant thing she did because she was letting the world hear her side of the story. And I think that was good. She opened up, she told what was happening to her. And the people in the community felt her pain. They felt what she was going through every day. And I don't think someone was surprised because someone probably lived that way themselves, trying to take care of a child. And then the system was supposed to protect you is the one out here trying to hurt you. You know, they was able to see and hear her story. Yeah, it's a good movie. Hey, Joshua, how you doing? They was able to hear her side, and the people was cheering her on. They was out there for her, and that made her feel like she was, I think she had started feeling like she's not alone out there. There's somebody out there going through what she going through, but she still was in denial about her child. She was grieving, and but she just couldn't accept. She couldn't accept it. She went on about her everyday life like the child was still there. And then what made me sad too, when she told the lady, she said, it's like it about to make me cry again all over again. But when she told the lady, when I go to jail, will you, and this right here just got me right. She said, when I go to jail, what you see about, what you get my baby. But the lady now, she know not to tell the lady that now. That lady knew the little girl was still alive, but she knew that she was having a breakdown. She knew what was going on, so she didn't tell her. Cause that woman walking around with his gun, swinging his gun and stuff. She did the right thing not to tell her during that time, but she already knew. But that was the twist to the movie, y'all. That was the twist. She was hallucinating. She could not come to term that her child had died, and she was um, being mistreated by the police and her job, and she just felt like everything was coming down on her, and that was a lot. That lady went through a lot in one day, but I'm thinking, even though it's a movie, somebody like that probably have been dealing with that for a long time and needed help, but I don't think she had the support. That's why I say you don't know what a person going through. You cannot assume, you cannot judge, because you don't know what people are going through. There are people on these channels, they might be going through some things. You never know. You never know what a person is going through in their real life. You never know how a person might just snap, or they might just deal with stuff. They try to deal with it. And like I said, when I first started my channel, I need, it's just like when I was going through my depression and stuff, I was just trying to find my way of trying to keep my mind, try to keep a good mindset about things. And I want to try to, in other words, I was trying to find a hobby. And I ended up on YouTube, and I consider YouTube as a hobby. It's something that I was going through at the time, and I found myself listening to music, and I found myself listening to the R. Kelly case and different stuff like that. It was just like it was something that would help me out. And then I decided to have a channel and just share some of the things that I do experience. But people don't know what people are going through. That's why you need to be careful how you treat others. Treat people the way you want to be treated. So when I saw the end of that movie, I cried. And I'm like, I was lost for a minute. I was like, when did she die? And then after that twist and how that came about, how they were showing every step about what she was doing throughout that day. And because she went to the school, I don't know if y'all remember when she went to the school, she was waving. And I was wondering why that lady, I don't know if she the principal or the teacher, I said to myself, why is she looking at that lady like that? She was looking at her, waving back, and she was going to the school like she was dropping the child off. But the child wasn't there. The child wasn't there. But it was all in her mind. I'm like, wow. She would drop the child off. And then I remember the teacher, or whoever that was, she said, y'all call me. Y'all call me. And the lady said, we didn't call you. See, as you watch coming up to the end, you can see all the all the in other words, you can tell everything start falling in place on what was going on with her. She said the school had called her, but the school never did call her. You remember when they showed them taking the child from her? That didn't even exist. It was all in her mind. It was all in her mind. Even though this was a movie, it wasn't a true story, but I have read a lot of views, and people were saying they, this lady right here would play the character here, they see her in them. So I think this movie, it helped in a way with people that are dealing with this type of stuff. I'm glad that she didn't get killed, because it was looking like they had to shot her up, but it was just like they said reason she was thinking about that because she felt like she didn't want to be here no more because her child was gone. And then, by her being at the bank, and they're assuming she robbed the bank, and those people was nasty too. The feds, they were like, oh, we're going in, we're gonna do this, we're gonna do all this and that. But it was a pretty good movie. I would give it, to me, I would give it 4 stars. I would give it 4 stars. It just, to me, it was an eye opener. It was an eye opener. It let you really see the mental health, and people need to take it very seriously. Um, we need to And then the system, we living in a world how we see that there are some police officers out there. They are cruel. They try to be nasty towards you. You know, sometimes they'll just stop you or they'll try. Like he didn't even have to hit her, even though he was. To me, he was an off-duty cop, but still, they supposed to help protect people, not hurt people. Yeah. Oh, okay. And she just got to that breaking point, y'all. She got to her breaking point where she was in denial of everything that was surrounding her. Everything that happened to her is just like she blocked it out. She just like, I'm going to work. I'm gonna go do this. She just like she was just living her normal everyday life, even though um it wasn't real. Even though it wasn't real, but in her mind, she was thinking that it was real, but it wasn't. So that's my view on it. My view on it is that treat people right. Treat people the way you want to be treated. And there are some people out there are straight struggling. I ain't saying I got it all. And I have been struggled. I have struggled too. I know how I feel to struggle. I'm not rich. I don't have it all, but I'm comfortable. You see what I'm saying? I'm comfortable. I don't have to deal with no landlord. Thank you, Jesus. But I don't like when people try to make it hard for others. Everybody wasn't born with a silver spoon in their mouth. Everybody wasn't born with everything. And the people that feel like they up there, you had to get there. It ain't like you started there. We all have to crawl before we walk. So you have to be careful. The same stuff that you praise, it can be taken away from you. It can be taken away from you. Because God gives and He also takes away. So this movie, it was it I liked it. It was very on point. He had got some good views and he got some bad views. There was some people like he always portrayed black women as poor, and I don't, I like I said, I saw how the plot was. It was based on a single parent and her struggles, but I'm looking at the mental health of the movie, that how much it took, how much she took, you know, so she had just she couldn't take it no more. She was just at her last straw actually. Even though she didn't rob the bank, but she started acting like a bank robber at one particular time. She was like, y'all go sit over there. So y'all go sit over there, and but then she gave him somewhere to sit, and but she was swinging that gun. That was like, uh. I didn't trust her with that gun now, but I'm glad Tyler Perry did the movie. It was it was an eye opener. It made people think. It make you where think about some things like where you have been and where you're going. You know what I'm saying? Think about how far God has brought you. Like I said, I have been at my breaking point before, but I've never been to a point where I want to hurt anybody or myself. It have been where mentally I had to come to grip with some things, and we're human. We are human, and it happens. It happens. So I don't know. Like I said, that's what I take from the movie. That it was it was a lot to deal with mental health, and I don't think that she had the support she needed in the movie. You know, because they only showed her mom when she was on the phone. You know, I know that's how the plot was. And she had to call her when the officers came to her house. She brought her back and told her, look, she died last night. She died. She told her she died last night. Because if she hadn't brought her out of it, I'm not saying she would have killed somebody, but she was just on she was at her last straw. And that bank teller, no, the bank lady, the manager, she knew. She knew that what had happened to her daughter, but she couldn't tell her. She couldn't tell her. She couldn't tell her during the time she swinging that gun, thinking she had a bomb, but it was a toy. Found out it was a toy her daughter had made. It looked like a bomb though. But for the ones who didn't see the movie, it's a pretty good movie, and you'll have to see it in order to know what it's about. But it was a tearjerker. When the lady said, I mean at the end when they said the girl had died, I cried. I'm like, oh my God, that's all she need right now. But she was already going through it, but she just couldn't accept it. She just couldn't accept her daughter had died, and they said she died. She was in the tub. She had a seizure or something like that. And by the time she went to the hospital, she had already died. So, cause you remember, I don't know if y'all remember when she imagined her in the tub, like she was bathing her. But yeah, it was. But hey, life is good. Welcome. It was a good movie. She was hallucinating everything. Cause when they went back and flashback the movie, wasn't nobody in the tub. Wasn't nobody even in the bed. Even the two bowls she had on the table, then but one person eat out the bowl. It was just like she blocked out the whole night. And she just moved forward trying to, because she couldn't accept it. And a lot of people, it's hard on people, especially when they lose someone. Like I said, when you grieve, it ain't no time limit on it. People grieve for years, days, months. And a lot of people can't accept it. So that is my. She was missing her daughter. She really was. It's hurted her. She couldn't accept it. She was gone. That was one thing. So that's my take on it, guys. It was a good movie, tear jerker, have you crying. It'll make you mad too. So for the ones who haven't seen it, it's a good movie. I think he did justice on the movie. Yep, I think he did. And I liked the older lady. The lady was at the bank. You know, she was speaking like, she was talking pretty good. She was just saying, um, just how things was. In other words, she was trying to say how things were back in her day and how things are now. And she was telling that woman to shut up. I thought she I thought she was gonna hit that bank teller because she was shy. And then she just sneaked in the bathroom and told him it wasn't no bomb. I'm like, good, go on out that door. Let that. I was saying to myself, let her go on. Shoot her, let her go one. Do I was saying, y'all? I was saying, shoot her or let her go out the door because she was getting on my nerves. She was really panicking though. That's what she was doing. But anyway, I'm finna get off of here. But yeah. So Fran, whoever in the chat, I'm just gonna ask y'all, what did y'all really take from the movie? What would y'all say that was a What did y'all really learn from the movie? Actually, I know this is reality. I know what happened to her and the things she was going through. It happened. It's happening every day. It happening every day. And a lot of people feel like they're alone out here, but there are people are going through these things. Check on your loved ones. Check on your loved ones. See if they need any kind of help in any kind of way. Check on your friends. You never know what a person might be going through. And then some people keep stuff in because they don't want to be a burden to others. But anybody just going through any type of things like this, that I know times are hard. Times are hard where you might get short some months on your rent. You might have to work on a job you don't like, but you have to deal with it because you don't have nothing else to do. And how that man was talking to her, he was so nasty. But this is a lot of stuff that showed that we see happening every day. We really do. We really do. Yeah. I hope I ain't spoiled the movie for a lot of y'all. I know some of y'all say they haven't watched it. But I think it's number one on Netflix right now. They say it's number one. Some people gonna give Tyler Perry his flowers and some not. I seen where some people were saying they don't like none of his movies, or they don't like, especially they don't like the ones where he played Medea. It's only a character. That's not him. And I think he did a pretty good job. It's a couple of movies he got I do like. This movie was real deep. I didn't, you know, I didn't see a funny part in there. I saw a lot of parts I was getting mad. He normally have a lot of comedy movies or something, to make you laugh sometime, but that was pretty deep. It was pretty deep. Because I had to ask my daughter, I'm like, what happened to the little girl? She like, Mama. I had asked my daughter one time, and then after I got to putting two and two together, and my daughter like, Mama, that girl died. And I'm just crying over there. I'm like, what? But after I got to seeing how she was acting, I'm like, yeah, she was hallucinating all the way through the movie. But I know the game is on now. I'm thinking I find me another good movie and check it out. I like doing like some movie reviews when I feel like it's something that I get out of a movie. Sometimes you can watch movies and they be like, oh, they okay, but I like watching movies that I can really relate to, or what we watching next. Tell me. What's going on? What's up? But Six Bo, what did you really get out the movie? That's the question I want to ask. What what message, or what did you get out the movie that you can what did you get out the movie? What do you think it really represented? I know it was a single mom, and it showed a lot of mental health in it. It really did. So what are your take on it? Whoever else is Frank probably watching the game, but what is y'all take on it? What message, or what do you think people should take from this movie? And I have said, treat people right. That's some of the things I would say. Treat people the way you want to be treated. Uh, she was struggling losing her daughter. Yeah, that was the biggest part. That basically what it was about. She couldn't accept the death, but she would still get up and go to work and do her normal thing. In other words, she still was trying to move forward, even though all that didn't exist. Sometimes a kind gesture or helping hand can be life change. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yep. Cause you never know, six ball. You never know. You never know. I don't know what's Frank. I always be asking Frank about movies. Frank be giving me some movies to watch. But yeah, I know my dear got another movie coming out on Netflix. It's gonna be funny though. He gonna be on. They gonna be going to the Bahamas or somewhere. I like movies like this, like suspense movies. I like drama, like love drama movie, but them scary movies. I can't. Ooh. Now when I watched that movie Deliverance, did y'all ever watch that movie? I was gonna do a review on it, but that movie about even though that was a true picture, Deliverance. Did y'all ever watch that? I possibly had did a review on that, but that movie had me. How them children were, all them kids, how they was in that house and stuff. I didn't even want to watch it no more to do a review on it. That was a true picture though. Did y'all watch it? It's called Deliverance. Did y'all ever watch it? Bumping and get off of here. But I just want to share my view on the movie. You know, I said I was gonna watch it again. Have y'all ever did that? Like go back and watch and see what did you miss. I had said I wanted to watch it again because they were saying that the little girl wasn't in the bed, but the little girl was in the bed when it first came on, right? Because they were saying she wasn't in the bed and she wasn't in the blanket. I think that's how they showed it when they did the, at the end, it was showing the little girl wasn't in the bed. They showed where the little girl wasn't in the tub. And when she was at the school, she opened the door, but nobody didn't get out. But then what they were saying that all the stuff she went through, the child wasn't there. But it was all in her head. And they called that hallucination, schizophrenic. Yeah. And she was also paranoid too. So she dealt with a lot. But up in the end is I'm gonna see what's coming up and I can talk about it. But yeah, I wanna wish all the fathers, if any fathers in the chat or they watch my replay or however, I wanna wish all fathers a happy Father's Day. My dad's home, so I'll be spending time with him tomorrow. Yep. He'll probably be here till Sunday. Yeah, spend time with him. He brought me some collards or something because he got a garden. Then he said he brought me some collards. He had got him out his garden. He's doing great. He been having some good medical report. Like I said, he still have to take his treatment for the cancer, but he don't have to go like he was. You have a great weekend too. And like I said, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I thought you was a moderator, Lynn. Y'all make sure y'all connect with everyone. Lynn talk about mental health over there every week, y'all. She be sharing different topics on it. And, she about like me. We like to share stuff about wellness. I've been talking about men mental health this week. So I'll share some more things about that next week. Our men's, y'all do matter too. And I guess I'm gonna join my dad tomorrow. See what else going on. But I'm gonna see what else movies out, and I'll check it out. See what's going on. Y'all know any movies? Just put it in comments. I'll watch and we can talk about it. But y'all have a good weekend, and I enjoyed everybody for coming over. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up. I want to thank my members or the ones who did came in the chat today. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. And shout out to everybody for doing the pineapple challenge. We was able to finish that challenge. Next week we'll be doing the challenge next week gonna be prayer of the day. You just do a prayer every day. You can post it. You can pray. You can say your own prayer. You can share a prayer. Just do it for 5 days. And I think we got brunch of the day after that. I think we got 3 more challenges. So, well, all right, you guys. I enjoyed y'all as always. And just be mindful. My message today, be mindful, be careful how you treat people because you don't know what they are going through. You don't know what they're going through. And if someone grieving, let them grieve. Don't tell a person they need to stop grieving because grieving doesn't have a time limit on it. It probably take people a long time to be able to accept things has happened. Let people have their peace. If you're not if you're not gonna help someone, just leave them alone. Just let them be. Let them deal with things they need to deal with on their own. Hey, Kenneth, how you doing? I was talking about the movie Straw. It was a good movie. Because people do reach their breaking point. They do reach that point where they about at their last straw. Dealing with the economy, dealing with these people out here. And then you're trying to take care of children by yourself and stuff like that. It's a lot. How you been doing? It's been raining all evening. That's why I was going in and out because it had been raining. But I do want to thank everybody that came in. And the ones that haven't watched the movie, hope y'all enjoy it. And like I said, happy Father's Day to all the fathers. I'm about to get ready to go and close this. But you been doing all right, Candy? Do you be watching movies or did you watch the movie on Netflix? It's on Netflix called Straw. And it was written and produced by Tyler Perry. Shout out to those actors and actresses. But they did a good job. They really did. I like the way the what name? The girl that was the police officer. The one played on Tyler Perry movie before. She wasn't making all that crazy noise like she was like Byron. She wasn't doing stuff like that. She played a real serious role. I liked how she was able to talk to the lady. Because she was I forgot to talk about that part. She was able to connect with her because of the things she had went through when she was, she seen her parent. Then she said she seen her mama go through that kind of stuff. So she could relate to what tired people was going through. She could relate to the mom. She could relate to the mom because she had grew up in that type of home. So that's why she was able to connect with her. And I think she played that part pretty good. Yeah, she really did. She hit that police officer. I know that. Yep. But it was good seeing you, Kenneth. It's good seeing you. Like I said, it is Father Day weekend to all the fathers. I hope you all have a good weekend. Until next time, y'all continue to stay blessed, stay encouraged, and always stay what? Prayed up. Bye bye. Let me play my little intro a little bit. And if you haven't seen the movie, check it out. I'll play this little music. Then I'll put this to go. Don't forget to give me a thumbs up, everyone. I'm gonna tell everyone good night. You know what? I'm trying to type in the chat. Hold on, y'all. I'm still here. Still raining out there too. I'm still here, y'all. I'm just typing, trying to type in the chat, but I am finna end it though. Anyway, that connection ain't doing good. All right, you guys. Y'all have a good good weekend. Y'all have a good weekend. And if you have not seen the movie, you'll like it. You know, hopefully you would. I did. And shout out to my members. Shout out to everybody who did come through today. And I do appreciate you all. Stay blessed, stay encouraged, and always stay what? Prayed up. And I'll let y'all know when I do another review. I'm gonna try to be doing some different reviews and stuff. And if you want to be part of my membership, just hit the join button and join my crew, everyone. All right, you guys. Have a good weekend. Bye bye. Thanks for joining.